Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations that look like those heathen nations, and to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And in the midst of all the trouble and the things that we're going through, we have to sometimes sit back and reflect and think about how blessed we are to have this understanding, to know what we know. All right, even though it's a headache dealing with scoffers and people with bugged out breakdowns and all these Johnny come latelys who wouldn't even know that they were Israelites had it not been mainly for the men of the Great Millstone and some other brothers, from the apostle elders on down. All right, and then these women all making videos and claiming to be Israelites and then trying to, go, especially the topic of many wives. Women don't want to acknowledge, what the scripture says, what the record says, but, they'll all be corrected as the Lord begins to visit Egypt as before. Matter of fact, let me get that. And then I'm going to go into this conversation that I have with my beloved daughter. All right. But this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 11. And it reads, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof." All right. And I'm thankful, that despite how Esau used my ex as a weapon against me, and she tried to use my children as a weapon against me, and the Lord kept them in my lives and also brought them into this truth. My sons are the brothers of the Colorado sons of Yasharallah, sons of Jacob, and and they learned this truth as young men. My youngest he was 9 years old when he heard this truth. And he never turned back, never stopped believing, went through grade school and high school, and man, did he cause some problems because history teachers did not like him. But nevertheless, and my daughter fell for, she drank the tea. So, she was on her mother's side and she believed all that stuff. But the water for Maccabee, my oldest son, Maccabee held it down and kept himself and his brother and eventually his sister grounded so that they would know me and know who I was and know that these things that their mother had said were not true. And all I can do is thank Yahweh Bashem Nawashai for that and for the spirit that he gave him. Right, to endure, because every time he defended me, he was punished for it. All right. But, and now he's defending the gospel. So, Tawadi Yahweh Bashem Nawashai for that. All right. But I had a conversation with my daughter, and this was good. I'm glad this happened, because she's got some really messed up worldly friends. And then this particular friend, I don't even know their names. I don't care to know their names. A couple of her friends, like the two she mainly grew up with, I know who they are. But I guess this other girl she's talking to, she's been telling this girl that she's an Israelite, and that we're the people of the Lord. And then there was another girl, she said a friend of hers, and they were drinking, and she said her friend drinks a lot. She's a bigger girl, and her friend got drunk, and she said that in her conversation, she looked in her eyes and saw something weird in her eyes. And the next thing you know, this woman is on the floor slithering like a snake. And a strange voice came out of her, and the other girl witnessed it. And just to make a long story short, it said it really weirded them out, and they backed up away from her, so my daughter called on the name of Yahweh Bashem Shai. And she asked the girl who was slithering on the floor, "What are you?" And the evil messenger, all right, told her, "I'm from the in-between." And once again, my daughter called on the name of Yahweh Bashem Shai, and it went away. And when the girl regained her senses and came to herself, she had no memory. I imagine that if you asked her if that happened, she would deny the whole thing. But my daughter and the other girl witnessed the whole thing. They saw it. And I told her that was to strengthen her and make her believe more. And she definitely lifted her spirits in the front. She really believes that this is the real deal. All right. And the scripture said that, that the Lord would pour out his spirit on the Israelite woman, the Israelite man, even on the heathen. Heathen are prophesying and having dreams and visions and things. All right. In these last days. Okay. But just trying to find a scripture real quick that popped in my head. So bear with me for a moment. Yeah, this is Proverbs 17:11. And it reads, "And an evil man seeketh only rebellion. Therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him." The Lord is going to send cruel messengers, monstrous apparitions, creatures in these last days. You're going to see some very strange things. Hence the reason for the dark, frightening, werewolf-looking, demon-type creatures on the screen. I just put in monstrous images, and these are some of the ones that popped up. All right? Because not only are things like that going to speak to people, they're going to present themselves into the fact that some people are going to be so frightened, they're actually going to give up the ghost. So, hold on, let me close this door. It's a lock here. Big rock for coming here and knock everything over. But in these last days, things are going to get really weird. Not only are they going to get violent among men, but you're going to add in this supernatural element into the mix. People are already seeing the chariots left and right, and you still have people that are ignorantly and foolishly calling them UFOs and UAPs. So you'd be amazed how many people have no clue, all right, what's going on and what the Bible is talking about. And sadly, Christians are some of the worst ones. All right, you got people who don't even believe in church and Christianity and that stuff, but can quote things in the Bible, that Christians can't even quote. I've seen it, 100 times over. All right, but let me go to Joel and Joel 2. He pours out his spirit. I'm going to start at verse 26 or 7. Joel 2 and 27. "And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed." All right, especially in that in these days to come. Psalms 54:17 says, "No weapon formed against thee shall prosper." That there's no enchantment against all this witchcraft and wickedness. None of that's going to work on Jacob. And when I speak of Jacob, I'm talking about the 2/3. I mean the 1/3. The 2/3 are going to be subject to suffer everything else that the heathen are going to. The 2/3 are going to be visited by these apparitions and these left-hand side angels, these evil messengers as well. All right. But it says, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids, in those days will I pour my spirit. So the other nations, the other people as well. And I will show wonders in heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. All those things are happening. Earthquakes, red moons, tornadoes, fires, landslides, tsunamis. All right. And it says, and the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh, not God, not Jesus, not Jehovah, not Yahweh, not Yeshua, not Ahiah, none of that. The names are Yahweh, Wah, Yahweh Shai, Wah meaning and. Period. There is no argument. All you gotta do is do a little bit of research. All the vowel points, the A, especially the A sound, are the A, the E, the O, the U. There's no U, no V in Hebrew. All right? You do your research, they'll tell you that everything was Ah. That's how we know. The only long vowel sound in Hebrew is the letter I, the I sound. Everything else is Ah. Like A, B, C, D is Abba, Gada. All right. Instead of H is Ha. Instead of W is Wah. All right. But it says, verse 32 again, and it shall come to pass, whoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. He didn't say to other people. And as Yahweh have said, and the remnant whom the Lord shall call, the remnant whom will be in what? The elect. 144,000. And then the scattered that are scattered among the heathen, that are among the elect. That's the Revelation 7 and 9, that great multitude that John couldn't identify because they looked like all the heathen. All right, why? But they're still the seed of Israel. They're the ones who got scattered. Like every video that I open with, are people that scattered among the heathen that look like the heathen. That's Revelation 7 and 9. Plain and simple. And only the elect of that scattered. Because everybody that got scattered is not of the elect. So it's all about the Lord's elect. Ephesians 1, 4, and 5. Verse 1, 4, and 5, verse 9. That first chapter of Ephesians. It's all about the elect. All right. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. 17. And I'm going to start at verse 1. The point is in 3. For great are the judgments, and they cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred. All right. So, when your soul, you haven't been learned. And if you can't get it, it's because the Lord don't want you to get it. If you got blinders, it's plain to see for the elect. Or you just don't believe. Faith is a gift. All right. Because a lot of people are going to not believe all the way up into their torturous, monstrous, horrific death. And when they do believe, it's going to be too late. All right. It says, for when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they shut up in their houses. The prisoners of darkness and fettered with the bonds of a long night laid their exile for the eternal province. So imagine things like this creeping around at night and it's dark. So dark you can barely see them. You can only see their eyes and their teeth, their claws. All right? As you feel them grip and rip and tear your flesh, snatch your arm off, snatch chunks, bite chunks of you. There's going to be all kind of craziness happening. It says, for while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered unto the dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. So some of these things are going to appear to people, and like I said, they're just going to get frightened and give up the ghost right there. Okay? And this makes me think about something that happened years ago with my sons and my daughter, because I had a dream, and I did a video about it. I had a video about, did a video about a dream that I had. All right. And what's crazy, before I even did the video, all right, if I remember, I'm trying to get me, this has been so many years ago. All right, this is about a good 8-9 years ago. But I'm trying to remember if I spoke to them before I had the dream or if my dream was first. But nevertheless, my son, my youngest son, and my daughter had the same dream in the same night. And to the point that my daughter, it was so disturbing, she got up and went to her brother's room, and he was waking up as well. And then they talked, and they freaked out because they started talking, and they both just had the same dream. All right. She and Yada had the same dream, and then talking to Mac had and he knew nothing about this. He had the dream too, the very next night. And then that dream was a continuation of my dream. So, hey, look, man, when the Lord is dealing with you, the Lord is dealing with you. And some of you may not believe that, but this is all true. All right. And in that dream, they were all in the woods, and they were waiting on me, and shit had hit the fan. And guess what? Their mother wasn't there. She didn't make it. All right. And it's funny because I talked to her not too long ago. We haven't been on the best of terms, but we actually talk now. And she knows about her sons and see their dedication and their belief. And it seems like she's actually starting to believe. And I actually told her that I forgive her. And that, I'll see her on the other side and she'll be mine again. And you know what she said? Shockingly to my surprise, she said that sounds good to her. All right. So, but you got to understand, man. Just let me read Jeremiah 3:1. And it says, and what if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's? Shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith Yahweh, that being us. And then my dealings with her. But, it's all on the Lord, because just because I forgive her, that don't mean that the Lord does. All right? Especially with the drama that she caused in her children's life. All right? All that trying to keep me away from them and all, and how it all backfired. Because she had issues, over the years, while they couldn't understand why they were so close to me, why they clung on to me. All right? Because they realized that I never stopped trying to be a part of their lives. It was she that intervened and did that. All right? But let's go back to this. Let me go to back to Wisdom of Solomon again. And I'm going to read from like 14 to the end there and wrap this up. 14 through 21, maybe. Let me see. Wisdom of Solomon. 17. And it reads, all right, because the Lord said he's going to visit Egypt like he did before. All right. And America is spiritually Egypt, spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritually Rome, spiritually Babylon. It's all those things. Why? Because it's taken on the spirit of all those things. All right, with all the symbolism and witchcraft and, and demonic cartoons and, books, sexual books about rape and a grape, and stuff being read to small children in school, to first, second, third, fourth graders. All right. But it says, Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 14. But they sleeping that night, Salakia, but they sleep in the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inevitable hell. All right. So they were, They couldn't sleep, and every time they slept, they had horrible visions. So imagine closing your eyes and seeing something like this coming at you every time you close your eyes, every time you fall asleep, and you wake up because you're so frightened, but you're so tired, you fall back to sleep, and it comes at you again. It's like some Freddy Krueger shit. All right? Say, but they sleep in the were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions and partly fainted, their heart failing them for sudden fear, and not looked for came upon them. All right, so like I said, some people are going to be having heart attacks. All right, it says, so then whosoever there fell down was straitly kept, shut up in a prison without iron bars. Your own fear had you so frightened. You know, it's a mind game. You're just, oh man, it's like when someone has a panic attack. If anyone who's had a panic attack before, all right, but your panic attack is so real, you can feel it, you can see it, because the Lord's going to let you see it and feel it. All right, and it says, for whether he were a husbandman or shepherd or laborer in the field, he was overtaken and endured that necessity, which would not be avoided, for they were all bound with one chain of darkness. Whether it were a whistling wind, a melodious noise of birds among the spreading branches, or the pleasing fall of water running violently. So in the dark, you just hear water running. You hear lions, roaring, wolves growling, strange noises, the hiss of a snake, It says, or the terrible sound of stones cast down, or the running that could not be seen, or of skipping beasts. You can hear the gallop of something running at you. Man, it says, or the roaring voice of most savage wild beasts, or rebounding echo from a hollow mountains. These things made them swoon with fear. For the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. All right, so the Lord's going to bring that pain. So not only people going to get death by pain, but it's the fear of death can be worse than death itself. And the Lord is going to blanket you with that fear, with that darkness. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakahak, Wadash, Kwam, Yasharala, Shalom.